So I asked you guys to tier things out we'll start in the Big Ten. Geo's going to lead us off here. Geo, we talked about NCAA tournament teams. There's no question.
Yes, sir.
There's no question the Big Ten has proved the most thus far this season, because we walked into this year thinking, the conference could take a step back. It hasn't taken a step back. It's stayed right there, if not exceeded any expectation level. How would Geo Baker tier the Big Ten at the moment?
So I'm starting off with the front runners, and I actually only have one. Right now, I only have Purdue as the front runner. I think if you were to have the Big Ten tournament at this very moment right now, I don't think that you could make a case for anyone winning other than Purdue. Just the way that they're playing overall, I think 2 through 12, you could kind of close your eyes and just pick at this moment. But as a front runner, I'd say only Purdue is in that slot. And then I have my second tier, which is tournament teams. And in that tier, I have Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Maryland, and Ohio State. For Wisconsin, they're 2-0 in the Big Ten already, as everyone seems to do every single year. They're underrated in preseason, and they somehow find a way to just win. And that's just classic Wisconsin basketball. But, what impressed me the most is that they got a W in Iowa. It's never easy to win on the road in Big Ten.
Who doesn't underrate Wisconsin, John? Coaches.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true.
They start every season unranked, and every coach knows.
It's because they're not sexy.
Unreal. It is unreal.
It is. It really is unreal.
But go on. You've got Wisconsin. So you've got one front runner in Purdue.
Yes, sir. Tournament got Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Maryland, and Ohio State.
Now, of those schools, who do you feel the best about? It's got to be Illinois.
I don't know. I mean, Illinois keeps being. I keep seeing different stuff on social media. It seems like they have some internal problems. I mean, I feel good about every single one of those teams making the tournament. Like, don't get me wrong. I think Illinois has more talent than the rest of those other teams. But I'm seeing stuff about Coach Underwood going back and forth with Matthew Meyer, going back and forth with Terrence Shannon Jr. And it's getting to the media. I think that's usually the worst part about it. Like, every team usually has some sort of internal issues, but it's the fact that it's now getting out to the media that is a cause for some concern. Again, I don't have any doubt in my mind that they are going to make the tournament, but now it's just about how high of a seed and where they're going to be at, and that's something they need to figure out quickly. With Indiana, I feel okay about them. My thing is they need to play the same as they do. I see you smiling. I'm not even trying to take no digs right now. I'm not trying to start anything with the Indiana fans on Twitter. But I want to see them play, the same on the road that they do at home. It's a really hard.
I joined the club. I caught a little bit of that before.
You caught some too, man.
I still live here in Indiana, so I got it. But they're a really good team. Yeah.
No, they're a very good team. I just want to see them be a little bit more consistent on the road. I think that
how do they get better? Like, that's my problem. They're one of those teams. Like, they're a quality team. Could they win 2 tournament games? Hell yeah.
I think, in my opinion, Hood Schifino is an outlier for them. Yep. Like, the guy, and when he came out against North Carolina and started, I think he had the first 8 points, and it was like, whoa.
Yep.
And so because the other guys are kind of, what you're gonna get from them, but he's the one he's going to continue to get better. For them. Yep. A lot depends on his development.
Yeah, I think that was the first thing I said when they lost to Rutgers. When Hood Schifino wasn't in that lineup, it hurt them a lot, because even at the beginning of the year, he was playing super inconsistent. He wasn't scoring at a super high level. But at the end of the day, if you look at it from a scouting perspective, like, that's a guy that you always have to be aware of. Always have to think about his playmaking. He's super impressive. Like, he passes the eye test, and as a defender and as a player, you're going to make sure that you're guarding him a certain way, and that frees stuff up for Trace. That's free stuff up for Race Thompson. So I think that without him in the lineup, that really hurt them, and he's definitely the outlier for the team, 100%.
All right, so after contenders.
Okay, so yeah, that was the second tier of tournament teams. Then I have my bubble, where I have Michigan, Michigan State, Rutgers, Penn State, and Northwestern. For Michigan, obviously right now their net is just awful. So that was something I took into account. I was trying, going off the analytics a little bit. And then obviously Jalen Llewellyn going out is super tough loss for them. The freshman Doug's really going to have to grow up super fast, for them to be a contender. You think about Big Ten basketball, you need to have a good point guard. And Michigan has always had a good point guard on every single one of their great teams. So that's something that he's going to have to do fast. He's really going to have to grow up, tomorrow at this point. We're basically in conference play.
I got to tell you, one of the most interesting games this week is Michigan and North Carolina in the Jumpman Invitational in Charlotte. Talk about two teams that, like, now North Carolina's got some momentum on their side. They seemed to figure something out yesterday. Michigan could use a big-time result. They could use hey, we're going to put people on notice that we do have it, because for Michigan, it's been choppy. So I'm in agreement with you. I mean, right now it's 7-3. They've lost to Virginia at home. They lost to Kentucky, who you heard our thoughts on them, or at least my thoughts. They got crushed by Arizona State. That doesn't look nearly as bad, but that's the thing. If you look at Michigan through 10 games, Gio, you're right. Michigan doesn't own a quality win.
Yeah, no, that game is huge for both teams, I think. I think it's huge for both teams in terms of like a confidence booster, in terms of just your overall mental state, right? Especially in today's age with so much social media, I think either program could get a lot of hate, for losing that game or losing big, whatever it may be. Just, how it is. You know how social media goes. We're all media guys here right now, right? You know how quickly the tide can shift just from one loss, and I think, and how quickly it can shift too from a win, right? Seriously, no, it's a confidence booster. It's a reality. So I think that it's a huge game for both teams.
All right, so then you got Bubble, and then who's on the naughty list?
Oh man, Minnesota and Nebraska. Nebraska, they're more competitive this year. I think the key for them though is, and we've spent this entire episode talking about it, is getting guys back in your program, getting culture guys. I see them losing a lot of close games this year, and that's just simply because of little mental lapses that you just don't learn in your first year in a program. You just don't, or you learn it, but you don't know how to overcome it. You don't know how to achieve to get to those close wins. So I see them losing a lot of close games. That Minnesota, they got a long way to go. So not a lot to talk about with them.